For those watching across most of New South Wales, yesterday's excitement was going off to vote at the local council elections. And emphasising the care factor of most, a repetition of ads on the radio reminded us that it was compulsory to vote, although there's nothing quite like the allure of a fresh democracy sausage to ensure a willing turnout. My experience was very straightforward, I have to say. Scan in with the QR code, that's the COVID code, approach the desk, give the man with the mask my surname followed by Christian name. But the rest was done by officialdom. There was no need to establish my home address. In fact, the man behind the desk suggested I lived at a certain abode, to which I said yes. He actually got it right. There was no requirement whatsoever that I provide any identification to prove my bona fides. Now, this leads me to my point. We have a very strange psyche, I think, in this country, where when it comes to elections, we believe everybody to be honest as the day is long. But try to take out a bank loan, rent a video, pick up a parcel from the post office, or even enter your local club, and you'll be required to produce ID. Now, I'm not saying that our elections are hotbeds of corruption or that voter fraud is in sort of plague proportions. But without greater levels of veracity, the system is surely vulnerable. After all, the stakes are high. Win a federal election and you control $1 trillion economy. Now, recently, the federal government began the process of legislating voter ID requirements. My understanding is, under the proposed law, a person would be asked to provide, at the point of voting, either a driver's licence or a passport or a Medicare card, something like that. If they didn't have one of those, then a proof of age card, a bank bill, even a utility bill would suffice. If they didn't have any of those, then a so-called declaration vote would have been accepted. The idea was simple in essence: make it easy for people to vote, but on the day at least require some proof confirming you are who you say you are. Well, the legislation's been dropped. It didn't have the numbers. According to some in Labor and the Greens, it was racist. Jackie Lambie's Facebook poll told her to steer clear. One Nation and even two of the government's own senators, while supportive in principle, still have the grumps over vaccine mandates, and so they withheld their support. And so, as we look toward 2022, we enter an election year where once again the voting system is more vulnerable to fraud than need be. And for those who oppose reform, I guess the big question is, why?